All right, we're going to get started momentarily, tracking these wild and woolly storms across the state. Some live storm tracking. It's getting rough in West Alabama. Man, oh man. We've got damaging wind ongoing now, rolling towards Demopolis. We've had some circulation, some rotation in that whole situation. Thankfully, no tornado warnings in effect in the state of Alabama. We have had a couple of reports of some damaging wind and potentially some structural damage coming in now into parts of the state of Mississippi. So that's another thing we're kind of keeping an eye on. That's in the Lauderdale County area, over near Meridian. Thankfully, no reports of any injuries thus far, but it is really, really early in that whole process. So I'm Josh Johnson. If you're new to this whole thing, we talk on Facebook and YouTube whenever we have active storms ongoing. And boy, do we ever tonight. We will begin, as we often do, with a quick chat and conversation. We have ongoing damaging wind threat now from Tuscaloosa and Reform and Moundville back to Demopolis. That's a nasty line, guys. I'm talking 65, 70 mile per hour type winds embedded within that, which, by the way, I encourage you. I'll put up the socials here on the side of the screen. You can follow me on most of the major severe weather, or most of the major social media platforms. I'm also on YouTube. If you search Josh Weather there, you can find me there. So we'll dive straight to the maps here. Check it out. This is what we're watching right now. Big, nasty line of storms here. This thing means business. Damaging wind is our main concern over here into parts of west central Alabama. You see it here on the map. Big, mean line of storms bearing down on Demopolis as we speak. And I've got all sorts of data sources that I'm kind of monitoring on the screen. I'll do my best to answer your questions, obviously, and get to those sort of as we can. If you just watch the live, though, I answer most questions as just kind of comes up in conversation sort of maneuver here. So we'll get to the specific, the towns, the whatabouts. We'll do our best to answer those as best we can. Sometimes those can get to be a little overwhelming. So what are we looking at? We'll check this out on radar. This is just a really strong wind signature that you're seeing over here running from Butler, Gilberttown, back to Pennington. Rough stuff there. Probably looking at some 65 to 75 mile per hour wind gust within that. So this is the real deal that we're tracking over here in this part of the state from a wind perspective. Here's the base reflectivity. Almost a little bit of a miniature bow echo right there. See the way that's shaped, almost like a backward C? That's that bowing out, that really powerful wind zipping in on the backside of that thing. So that's unfortunately what we're kind of up against tonight is that. Now, a lot of questions about what happens next, and we do our best to. That's what we fixate on, obviously, is what happens next. So let me show you this. This is the high-res rapid refresh model. It's our best short-range computer model guidance, and we'll take it back. Let's do this instead. We'll split screen this and have both up at the same time. So on the right, you've got computer model data. On the right, there's radar data. On the left, it's model data. That may be hard to read. We'll take it full screen. So this is roughly now. So this gets into Marengo County now through about 11 o'clock. Midnight, Perry, Dallas, Wilcox, Monroe, Chilton, Bibb, Shelby. 1 o'clock in the morning, Coosa, Clay, Tallapoosa, back down into Autauga. Lowndes County gets in on some of this as well by then. So this will kind of just be easing on in by 1 a.m. Again, we're talking Coosa, Elmore, Autauga, Lowndes, Northern Butler, Monroe, Conecuh. That's 1 in the morning. 2 in the morning, we're now into Tallapoosa, Chambers, Randolph, more of Elmore, Macon, Montgomery, Bullock, Pike, Crenshaw, Covington counties. Again, this is 2 in the morning. 3 in the morning, the line runs from Phoenix City back down through Russell County, Lee County, Bullock County, Pike County, Barber County, Coffee County, Covington County. Okay, this will be 3 in the morning. 4 in the morning, it's down into the far southeastern corner of the state. So that's the look forward here It's sort of the entire situation. So that's what we're seeing when we look at that type of the setup here. Here's radar again. We'll zoom you back in. This is really getting nasty now at Demopolis. Let's pull up their the wind situation there in Demopolis, see if we're seeing any wind reports. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect, by the way, and a tornado watch. Just depends on where you live. Severe thunderstorm watch is for Marengo, Perry, Dallas, Bibb, Tuscaloosa, Sumter, Green, Hale, Pickens. Tornado watch is for Choctaw, Washington, Clark, down into parts of South Alabama. So, Vicky, it will die down a little as it moves east. Courtney, are tornadoes expected? I wouldn't say they're expected. I would say they are possible. And where they will be possible, and I'll zoom you in here. See this? Way the line kinks in right there? That's what you'd have to watch for up here at we call these apex tornadoes. They're up at the top of these bow echoes. You'd have to watch about a tornado there. The velocity data, not incredibly suggestive of rotation at this point. But remember, we're out here in the radar gap. So the Birmingham radar, kind of too far away, doesn't really help us a ton in the lowest levels of the atmosphere. Which, by the way, just a heads up here, we are going to do a 30-minute special, 30-minute primetime special about the West Alabama radar gap on WSFA 12 News. We're going to highlight the effort underway now to fix that gap once and for all. We're going to talk about why it's important. So just a little plug for that. Be looking for that soon. All right, so let me zoom you in here. This is in Demopolis. So far, so good. You don't see any massive burst of wind here. Let me zoom you. We'll zoom way in. You and I can look at the data together here. So strongest wind gust so far looks like it's around 21 miles per hour in the last hour. We had some stronger actually before the storms even got there. But I would make the point that based on radar data, it's very likely that the storm really, the core of it isn't even in Demopolis yet. It's still lying just back to the west back here, just a little bit west of downtown Demopolis. So we'll swap those out. It's probably easier to see the radar there if it's on the left side. So the wind speeds are going to increase in Demopolis soon. And Faunsdale, too. I see Linda asking about Faunsdale. Yes, Faunsdale. It's going to get rougher there before it gets better, unfortunately, there in Marengo County. Let's take radar full here. So line of storms now running from Akron back to Demopolis, Myrtlewood, Pennington, Sweetwater. Heads up, it's coming soon. Coffeyville, it's on the way. Strong straight line winds possible within this, as high as 70 miles an hour. We can't rule out a brief spin-up tornado in this whole deal. Now, the odds of that are a little lower, but they're certainly not zero. So that's the deal with that whole setup that we've got heading our way. It's mainly a straight line wind threat, but in a couple of spots here, if we get really unlucky, wrong place, wrong time, you get a brief tornado out of that deal. So that's where we are as of 9:47. The line is in Alabama now. It is racing towards the east fairly quickly, as they are wont to do. Typically, in these sorts of scenarios, the lines are pretty fast. Now, this line, I would suggest to you, is frankly, it's pretty well behaved as far as the forecast goes. The timing kind of scenario that I laid out earlier today, in my humble estimation, is still looking accurate to me. Let me share that with you here, and we'll pop the sponsor logos off momentarily. So my apologies to Brian Jewelry and the Vance Law Firm. I think they'll understand, though. They're all good folks. We're trying to just share all the information we can. So this is that storm timing map. So this, honestly, will probably help you out, maybe more than anything else we produce. Many of you cannot find your county on a map, and we get it. Smartphones have made maps, not a thing of the past, but many people don't use them as much anymore. So we thought, even if you don't know where your county is, you probably know the name of it anyway. So we think this might be the wave of the future, doing this by county and go hour by hour. So I'm not going to waste your time reading all of them here. We've done these alphabetically. These are primarily the southern half of Alabama. That's our core service area. Here at WSFA 12 News, this is the southern half of the state of Alabama. So if you're not featured in there, that would be the reason why. So it's not a, we're not playing favorites. It's just sort of what it is. We serve the area we serve, and we try our best to serve it with everything we've got all the time. So we'll split screen it here. So times of arrival on the right, and then we've got the radar on the left there. So right now, we think the greatest risk of significant damaging winds runs from Tuscaloosa down towards Demopolis into Choctaw County near Butler. So in those areas, a 70-plus mile-per-hour wind threat could very well unfold over the next couple of hours. Let's try this. This is something we haven't done yet much. Kind of a triple box here. The graphic there probably a little tough to maybe tough to discern. If it is, just tell me and I'll change it. We can always change this back. So, as a lot of people asking about tornadoes. Yes, there is a risk of isolated tornadoes in this whole scenario. It's lower, but it's certainly not zero. So let's do this. Let's go back picture in picture with me and radar. Looks like a new severe thunderstorm watch popping as we're on here. So we will effort to get you that detail coming up. So damaging wind threat. Really need you taking this seriously right now over in West Alabama. This is the kind of damaging wind that can cause some pretty major problems. You need multiple reliable ways of getting those weather warnings. You've probably heard that a lot out of me before. That's the case with these overnight events. So let's see, we'll go into NWS chat here. All right, so counties added to the severe thunderstorm watch. Let's go, we'll pop me up full here momentarily. Counties in that severe thunderstorm watch are now, we already had in our area, Dallas County, Marengo, Perry. We have added Autauga, Chilton, Elmore, Lowndes, Montgomery. Again, that's a severe thunderstorm watch that runs until 2 in the morning. And that jives with what we're telling you, that the main concern here is damaging wind. That's the reason that we have a severe thunderstorm watch and not a tornado watch. So there's radar now. You see the storms. They are zeroing in on West Alabama. It's getting really bad at Demopolis. We'll check the ASOS data there. That's the Automated Surface Observation System. We'll check it again. Latest report still 9:35. That's 17 minutes ago. So Demopolis going downhill badly there now. Lots of strong wind, torrential rain falling from the sky. Again, that's over in Marengo County. So stay in that tornado safe place there in that part of the world, over in Marengo County. So, and by the way, this goes down into Clark too, getting into northern Clark County. You've got a severe thunderstorm warning there. Notice that polygon now. The Weather Service has issued a fairly large severe thunderstorm warning that goes over into Wilcox, northwestern Monroe. It's not raining yet. You live at Camden, Pine Hill, Miller's Ferry, Catherine, Safford, Alberta. It's not even raining there yet, but there's a risk of significant damaging wind there between now and 11 o'clock. So stay weather aware over there into much of west central Alabama. You really got to stay on your toes there. So we'll pop the storm timing map back up here. We'll go solo with that so we can take it all in. Many of you have mentioned the usefulness of this graphic. We'll again momentarily take down our partner logos there with the Vance Law Firm and Brian Jewelry to share those timing numbers with you. Here they are. So pick your county or the one closest to you. If you're in a county that's not on the list, this list is mainly confined to counties that the WSFA 12 News television market serves. But I understand in a world with no TV market areas, many of you may be watching this from elsewhere. So if your county's not on here, just take it to the one closest to you. Shanna Bohannon says it's here. She's over in Marengo County. Let us know what you're getting. By the way, if you're in Marengo County, stay inside. Don't go outside. By the way, someone asked about tornado safe place. At this point, no, I don't think that needs to happen, but I do think you need to be weather aware and ready to move just in case. So we're back to radar now. I had a question about Forkland. Worst of it is moving through there right about now. Give it another 20, 30 minutes and life will be better there. Check the velocity here. Now there's some indication of, we'll have to watch up here, a couple of different spots. The reflectivity is almost a better tell. You've got to watch a little bit of circulation right here between Akron and Moundville, and then back over here as well between Forkland and Greensboro. Now on the velocity data, it doesn't show up all that well, and it won't. Remember, we're in the West Alabama radar gap out here, but there's enough there to where I think you need to at least be paying attention and ready to get into that tornado safe place. Rebecca says, I'm in Wetumpka getting notifications for Jemison. Rebecca, if you're talking about our weather app, and I assume you are, close it, reopen it. If that doesn't work, delete the app, reinstall. And by the way, just a public service announcement on our weather app, deleting it and reinstalling it will solve 90% of the problems that crop up on that thing. So be ready. Just understand that. So Bo Echo down here, pretty substantial damaging wind threat now coming into Sweetwater. This would be again in Marengo County. Linden, Providence, Demopolis getting it. Demopolis is getting it right now. Providence, Linden, it's about 5 to 10 minutes away. Sweetwater, it's arriving right now. So again, this is not really a tornado setup right now in Marengo. It could be at any moment now, but it's enough of a damaging wind threat that I think you should stay kind of in the middle part of your house. Just be ready to move. So as mentioned, the tornado watch has been extended to the east by several counties. It now includes Montgomery County, by the way. I'll get you a map on that. And we're about to have to cut this short. I hate that, but we've got a WSFA 12 News at 10 o'clock. So if you're near a TV screen, I would invite you to join us there. We're actually beginning the segment, the newscast, with weather. So it will be a very weather-heavy operation in there, obviously that newscast. So strong straight line wind ongoing now, Marengo County. The core of it, the worst severe weather damaging wind threat is Linden and Providence, Myrtlewood back to Sweetwater. You live there, I don't know that you need to be in your tornado safe place. I do think you need to be paying really close attention though in those areas. So just keep an eye out on a good source of weather information if you live in those spots, for sure. Let me show you. This is the new severe thunderstorm watch. You see it there. So this gets all the way over to Chilton, Autauga, Elmore, Montgomery, Crenshaw, Lowndes, Butler, Wilcox, Monroe, Conecuh, Escambia, Mobile, and Baldwin counties. So that's the story there. So you've got, again, a severe thunderstorm watch that has been expanded now to include more of central Alabama. And the reason they've done that is this big, mean line of storms. You see it here, and you can kind of make it out here if you look. So the way this is working out, the whole thing has kind of a Bo Echo signature to it. Within that, there are other kind of miniature Boeing segments that are also noteworthy and potentially dangerous. So I would, again, encourage you, just stay close to a good source of weather information. You need multiple reliable ways of getting weather warnings that are capable of waking you up, even if it happens in the middle of the night. Now, a winning combination here, and I don't get a dime for selling weather radios. I promise, I don't. Wish I did. We've got NOAA Weather Radio. It is exceedingly reliable. The system downtime on NOAA Weather Radio, you're talking 99.9% of the time it works. That's really, really, really good. Okay, second thing, have the weather app. It's free, and with the weather app, you get the details, the specifics. So it's the best of both worlds. You've got the weather app gives you the specifics, the radar, the hour by hour, the video updates that we produce, customize alerts to your location. And then Weather Radio has the reliability in there. So that's the best course of action. So damaging wind is the main threat. The threat is highest in West Alabama now through midnight. There is a risk of a brief tornado touchdown or two scattered around the state. Best chance there's West Alabama too. The tornado risk is lower, so it's not zero, but it is lower. And the main concern, as we've said here, is damaging wind, particularly in those western counties. But even as this moves east, Montgomery and points east, you'll entertain at least some risk of damaging wind. All right, I'm going to shut this thing down. We're going to go into TV mode now. Join us on TV, WSFA 12 out of Montgomery. If you're not local,